Okay, so now we're going to talk about categorical data, which is different from quantitative data. Remember, quantitative data was data that used numbers to represent things, such as age, weight, height. Whereas categorical data is data that shows how many surveyed fall into a given category, such as education level, or favorite subject, or eye color, or there's many examples of this. And now, what we use to summarize categorical data is something called a two-way frequency table. A two-way frequency table is a visual representation of the possible relationships between two sets of categorical data. And so if we look at number 1, we are going to create a two-way frequency table given the data that is below. It says that we are trying to understand the association between where a person lives and how they commute to work. There are 30 people that were surveyed in 3 different cities with the results shown below, and we want to summarize the results in a two-way frequency table. So I already have the two-way frequency table drawn, but basically what I did here was on the left, I represented all the cities that were shown in the data, so Dallas, New York, and Chicago. And then in the columns, I represented all the ways that they listed as ways that they commuted. So car, train, or walking. And then in both the columns and the rows, we will find the totals. All right, so if I asked you to create your own two-way frequency table, you might have to make this type of table. All right, and so if we look at, let's only focus on Dallas and driving a car. So if I look at my data above, I can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in Dallas said that they drove a car to work. And now if I focus on Dallas again, but riding the train, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 people in Dallas said that they rode the train. So we write a 4 here. And now, if I focus on Dallas again, but walking to work, I would get 1, and that is it for walking to work. Dallas just has 1. All right, so now we're going to look at New York and riding in the car. So I see 1 here, and that is it for New York in the car. Next, we're going to do New York again, but riding the train. So that's 1, 2, 3, and that's it. All right, next, we're going to do New York, but walking. So that's 1, 2, and that is it. Okay, and then lastly, we're going to move on to Chicago now, and we're going to do Chicago, riding in the car. I see 1 here, and 2, and that's all I see. All right, now Chicago again, but riding the train. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then lastly, Chicago one more time, but walking. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to do the totals section. So what we do there is, and it doesn't matter where you start, I'm going to do the totals of the columns. So a 6 plus a 1 plus a 2 is a 9. So in this column, I'm going to have a 9. A 6 plus a 4 plus a 3 is a 13. So in this column, I'm going to have a 13. And a 5 plus a 2 plus a 1 is an 8. So in this column, I'm going to have an 8. Now I can work on the rows. So a 6 plus a 4 plus a 1 is an 11. A 1 plus a 3 plus a 2 is a 6. And a 2 plus a 6 plus a 5 is a 13. And I have no idea where my, this was a 13. I don't know where my 3 went there. But now I can add up this row here, a 9 plus a 13 plus an 8 is a 30. And if I were to add this column here, I should also get that same total, which I do. I get 30. So this tells us that there were 11 people that were interviewed or surveyed in Dallas. There were 6 people that were surveyed in New York. There were 13 that were surveyed in Chicago. There were 30 surveyed altogether. And 9 took the car to work out of all 3 cities. 13 took the train to work out of all 3 cities. And 8 walked to work out of all 3 cities. And that's all this is in your two-way frequency table. It summarizes the results that were shown in the data above.